Okay, in this video, I'm going to talk about finding the inverse of a non-singular matrix by using the elementary row operations. The ERO is the short form for elementary row operation. So in the previous video, I have already teach you what is the three types of operation. So before you watching this video, you have to watching the video involving I introduced these three operations, right? So, and also before this video, I also introduced you about how to using adjoint matrix to finding inverse. So this elementary row operation is another method to finding the inverse of the matrix. So before that, I'm going to tell you some rules of using the elementary row operations. So let's look at this. So you want to find the elementary operations, there is a rule which you have to write this matrix. You have to write this matrix in augmented form. All right. What is mean by augmented form? Means that you're going to write it in the form of A and a line here. You write an I, identity, right? Identity. So now I start with writing this augmented matrix. We set this one to be. There is a term for this augmented matrix. In order to using this to find the inverse of a non-singular matrix by using elementary operation. So first you putting this, so here will be your identity 1 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 1. So this is the meaning of I here. So the A here is you putting all the value here inside this matrix. 1 2 3 2 4 5, exactly the same into this augmented matrix. This is your augmented matrix. So the first step here, you want to using this method, you must write in augmented matrix. So the special case here will be you must follow this order. All right. In this method, you must using the first step will be the first step. Try to refer. This is your first step. You're making this to be 1. All right. And your second step, you make this 2 to become 0. So there are 6 steps. All right, 6 steps, maximum 6 steps. All right, maximum 6 steps for this method. So 1 0 0, and followed by making this one. I put a square for this. All right, making this one, and later making this 2 become 0. So this is your third step, and this is your fourth step, right? And the fifth step, this one will be your 1 1. Later, this 2 become 0. So this is your fifth step. So means that you go column by column. Okay, I draw again. First you make this become 1, and you make this 2 become 0, right? This is for the first column. So this is your first, this is your second. Okay, now later you go for the second column. You make this become 1, and later you make the above of this and below of this 1 become 0. All right, and the third column, you make this become 1, and you make this 2 become 0. Oh, what's the meaning? I just tell you the flow, okay? So I haven't introduced that. Later you will know. So I have 1 0 0 1, then this 2 0, then this 1, this 0. I repeat again. You have to have the you see the pattern first. You make this 1, make this 2 0, make this 1, make this 2 0, make this 1, make this 2 0. So that's the pattern. So okay. So now I have to tell you which is the location I'm going to use this operation. Systematic, there are many ways, okay? Before that, Mr. Tan have to tell you, there are many ways of using this elementary operations. There are no rules. But I try to introduce you a rule such that this is more systematic, okay? It's a more systematic. So, means that if you want to make something become 1, you mau menjadikan satu benda itu menjadi satu. So, you have to use these two operations. You have to make 1. You have to make 1. So means you have to make something become 1. So you use either you interchanging the row or you multiply the row by something. So, and for this you have to make something become make the 0. You want to make something become 0. This 2 and this 2. You're using the third operation. Remember, the first two operation, interchanging and multiply by something, is using if you want to make something become 1. If you want to use the third operation, you must making something become 0. Maybe you not understand what I mean here now, right? So I have to follow, right? You have to follow the flow here. Okay, let's see what is the meaning that I'm going to do here. So the first thing is Look at this video here, right? This part here. This part here. So the first thing here, you have to make sure everything here become identity. That's the meaning. You have to make this one become identity, and all the number here, you transfer to here. You diffuse, you transfer here. So here will become identity, and lastly, this will become your inverse matrix. So this is the objective of this elementary row operation. Means from this augmented matrix, from the A here, finally the A will become an identity, and where the identity here will become the A inverse. It's very special, right? Magic. So you have, before you enjoy the magic, you must see how the flow of this magic, right? So first, you must make sure this one become 1. This is the meaning. You want to make this become identity. So the flow is, you must make this become 1 first. So luckily in this question, this is already 1, right? This is already 1. So means that the first step have done. The first step have done. Now go for the second step. Make this 2 become 0, right? Make this 2 become 0. So you have to using the third operation when you make 0. That's the third operation. So how do we? What do I mean? Okay, see what I do. You see what I do. You want to make this 2 become 0, right? So I erase this. Erase this. The step 1, I skip the step 1. Why? Because the step 1 already 1 here. So now I go for this 2 number here, which is come from the second row and the third row. I want to make this become 0, means I want to modify the second row, and I want to modify the third row simultaneously. You can do that, right? So now I teach you how to do this. So now you writing equal, right? You writing equal here. So you want to using the third operation now. See carefully what I'm doing now. So now you rewrite back the row 2 and the row 3, right? Row 2 and row 3. So now how to decide? You refer to which row, because you want to make this 2 0. You cannot use back the same row, okay? You cannot use back the same row. You want to modify this 2 row, you must refer to another row, which is the row 1, alright? The row 1. So row 1. So if you see there is a 2, this is 2 here, right? If 2, you will change the sign, become -2. Okay, never mind, you now will follow 3, it will become -3. If +3, it will become -3. If -3 here, it become +3. It's follow the number here. So now you start the operation. I hope you know what is the operation means here. So now, which row is not modified? Row 2 and row 3, the row 1 is not modifying. So you write back the row. Okay, I draw bigger a bit. So I draw bigger a bit. So I have, hope you can follow. This is not easy to teach this concept here. So 1, 2. So row 1 is not involved. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 0, 0. I write back this row because not modified. But I modify row 2. One by one you need to fill in, you know. So you have to enjoy lah. So 2 and 1, right? You have 2 and 1, right? So means that now it's between row 2 and row 1. The business is between row 2 and row 1. Everything you know, row 2 and row 1. So if you put 2 here, okay, I show you. This is from row 2, right? So you put 2 here, minus with 2 times with row 1. What's the row 1? Your row 1 is 1, right? So 2 minus 2, you have 0 here, right? So for this first part, I go slowly with you. Later, I tell you, then you know what is happened, okay? So now, let's say I want to have the number here for this location here. It's referred to the row 2 and row 1, right? This formula, you modify row 2 now. So for this part, it's between row 2 and row 1. So for this location is 4 and 2. So now 4 and 2. So I have to put 4 minus with 2 times 4 from the row 2 minus 2 times from the row 1, 2. Oh, you have getting 0 also, right? You are getting 0 here also. Okay, done. So now go for this. Go for this. So now for this location is referred to the 5 and 3, right? 5 and 3. So between 5 and 3. So put the value, then you have 5 minus with 2 times 3, right? 2 times with 3. Remember the formula. 5 minus with 2 times the row 1, the 3. So you have negative 1, right? So here negative. So you put the negative 1 here. You do the same thing for the whole row, okay? For every element in the row. So go 0 and 1 now. Using your mental arithmetic, 0 and 1, right? 0 and 1. So 0 here, 1 here. So you have negative 2 here. 1 and 0. So from row 2 and row 1. Row 2 and row 1 for this. So row 2 you have 1, right? 1 minus 2 times 0. So you have 1 here, right? You cannot make mistake, because once you make mistake somewhere, it's very hard for you to check back. Alright, 1 and 0. So I have to go very slowly. So 1 and 0. So now 0 and 0. Okay, definitely this will become 0. Okay, now this operation done, right? Done, selesai. Haven't finished yet, because you need to go for the third row. You want to modify the third row. Now it's between the third row and the first row. The third row and the first row. So now, okay, I just focus on this third row and the first row, right? Third row and the first row. So now use this formula. For this part here, follow, okay, you have to follow this. So row 3 is what? 3, right? 3 minus with 3. Row 1 for this is 1. So you have 0, right? Of course it will become 0, because this is the game, right? You want to make this 2 become 0. Alright, now go for this. Go for this. This location is between 5 and 2. 5 and 2. So you're putting the 5 here. 5 minus 3 times 2, right? You see that? 5 from the row 3, row 1 is 2, right? So 5 minus 3, 2, 6. So you have negative 1 here also. Negative 1 here. Followed by this part here. You have, okay, you have to do very fast but accurate. Okay, now, so now I'm teaching you the way. So I substitute one by one for you. 6 and 3, right? For this, it's between 6 and 3. So 6 minus 3 times bit 3, right? 6 minus bit 3 times bit. The row 1 is 3, row 1. So you have 6 minus 9, which is negative 3. Okay, I stay here. This is row 1, row 2, row 3, right? So 6 minus 9, you have negative 3. Okay, now go for this. It's between 0 and 1, right? 0, 1. 0 and 1, you have negative 3. Negative 3. And 0 and 0. Okay, easy. 0. And 1 and 0. 1 minus 3 times 0. 1 minus 3 times 0, you have 1. Alright. So this is the done, right? You have making this 2 become 0. Right? You are making this 2 become 0. So you have done the second step. Wow, can you feel that? How tedious it is. So now, it's not finished yet, the job, because you still got so many things here. You have third row, right? You want to go for the second column, 1, 0, 0. Then this one, the middle one become 1 first. Only make this 2 become 0. How to make this become 1? Don't look at the third operation. You look at the first or the second operation. So, but here is already 0. Sini sudah jadi kosong. Kan kosong kan? Tak boleh. Tak boleh kosong. Dia mesti sini 1. It must be here. Must be 1. Must be 1. Is 0, you must make it 1. How to make it 1? Using these 2 operations. Which one is suitable? The second one is to multiply the row by a number. Is it suitable? For example, I multiply this row with 1. 1 multiply 0 is 0. You still get 0. So means the second operation is not suitable. So we go for the first operation. Yes, this will be suitable. How? I interchange. You see these 2. Once if I interchange these 2 row, the negative 1 will go to here, the 0 will go to here, right? Temporarily is okay. So now I'm doing this. So, okay, I continue from here. Okay, it's a big process. So you take the row number. Now for this, the new one, you refer to this row, right? To this matrix. So now you have to interchange the row. This is row 1, this is row 2, the new row 3 here. So now you interchange the row 2, go down, the row 3 go up. So row 2 and row 3 are interchanging. Okay, you have interchanged the two rows. So how was it? So the row 1 is not involved. The row 1 is remaining the same. 1, 2, 3, 1, 0, 0. Okay, let's look at the row 2 and row 3. The row 2 will going to the row 3. Negative 1, negative 2, 1, 0. Right? Okay, double check. Then for this, you will go up 0, negative 1, negative 3. Can I see everything row 3 go up? So negative 3, 0, 1. Right? Done. But the problem is still there because you're going to make this become 1. So you only can use these two operations. Remember, when you want to make 1, you mau jadikan sini 1. How? You can use this one, right? You cannot interchange anymore. Once you interchange again, it will get 0 again. So now you multiply with a negative, a k. So means that now continue until it become 1. So you take the row 2, this row 2. Now this is your new row 1, row 2, and row 3. So your row 2, you multiply with negative 1, negative 1 of the row 2. So you have to write the operation so that people know what you are doing. Row 2 saja yang berubah. The row 2 is changing. So means that the row 1, and the row 3 is not disturbed. You're not disturbed. Negative 2, negative 1, negative 2, 1, 0. Right? So you have to double check with all the flow that you are doing. So negative 3, 0, 1. So now this is the one that you multiply with negative. So 0, negative 1, 1, become 3. Multiply everything with negative. So you have 3, 0, negative 1. Done. Now this is already become 1. Right? So you have done the third step. The fourth step is you're making this 2 become 0. You're making this 2 become 0. Luckily, you have here already 0, right? 0. You just need to make this become 0. So, to make something become 0, you use the third operation. Modify which row? Modify this row here. Because you want to make this become 0, right? So, the whole row have to be modified. So, the row 1, modify. Then you take the row 1. This 2 becomes 0. Must refer to the value of 1. Yeah, this is already 1, right? For this 2 to become 0, you refer to row 1. For this to become 0, you refer to the for this to become 0 and this to become 0, you refer to row 2. Means that here will be row 2. Okay, row 2. So 2. So you put, if positive 2, you will put negative 2. It's just like this one. Okay, just like this step. So if positive 2, you become negative 2. Sir, why don't you modify row 3? Why? Because it's already 0, except if this one is not 0, right? So now I go for this step. Okay, then which one is not modified? Copy back 0, 1, 3, 3, 0, negative 1. 0, 0, negative 1, negative 2, 1, 0. Copy back everything here. This is the one that you modify now, right? You modify now. So this is your row 1, row 2, row 3 for this formula. So now it's between row 1 and row 2, sorry. Row 1 and row 2. So 1 and 0. 1 and 0, you have 1, right? 2. The row 1 here is 2. Minus with 2 from the row 2. 1. 2 minus, you have 0. Yes, you get 0, right? So you have to modify everything also. Now you go for 3. For this one, it's between row 1 and row 2, right? For this. So row 1 is 3. Minus with 2 times with the row 2 is 3 also, right? Row 2. So 3 minus 6. 3 minus 6, you have negative 3, right? You have negative 3. So, followed by 1 and 3 for this. 1 and 3. So, okay, I write here 1 minus 2 times 3. 1 and 3. So, 1 minus 6, you have negative 5. 0 and 0, okay, very easy. 0, 0 and negative 1, right? 1 by 1, 0 and negative 1. 0 and negative 1, right? So you have positive 2. Okay, positive 2. Done. You have made these 2 become 0. You have made these 2 become 0. First step, 1. Second step, 0. Third step, fourth step. Now go for the fifth step. Menjadikan sini 1. Okay, how should be done? So now go for the next operation. So which is, you want to change this one become 1. So you can using either 1 or 2. Can you using 1? Boleh tak you guna 1? Tak boleh, you switching, right? If you switch, alamak, here become 3, right? Tak boleh. So even though you can use these 2, but choose the suitable one. For this case, I will choosing this one, multiply. Because you multiply with negative 1, you become 1, right? So means I take the row 3, and now it's become the row 1, row 2, and row 3. So your row 1 now is not modified. You are not modified the row 1. So I copy back everything. Okay. So I copy back everything. So row 1 is not involved in anything. So 1, 0, negative 3, negative 5, 0, 2. 0, 1, 3, 3, 0, negative 1. So this one, the third row are multiplied with the negative, okay, negative 1, so that it becomes positive. 0, 0, 1, negative 2 multiply negative 1, 2, negative 1, 0. Done for the this step. Now go for this 2 becomes 0. The top of this 1 becomes 0. Okay, now is the time for you to understand. Okay, hope you already understand. You can repeat the video and watching, okay? It's very boring actually, but you need to know, alright? You need to know how to find it. So now you want to make this 2 become 0. Refer to this 1. This 1 come from where? From row 3, right? So modify the first row, modify the second row, refer to the third row, right? Refer to the third row. If you see, this one refer to the second row, right? This 2 becomes 0, refer to the second row. For this 2 to become 0, you refer to the row 1. You have to see the pattern, right? So now row 3. So I have to rub all this away. Keep in your mind that this is your step, right, that you need to follow. So now make this 2 become 0. So row 3. So what is the number here? If negative 3, this will become positive 3. If 3, it will become negative 3. That's all. Very simple. You just follow the rules. So now row 1 and row 2 are modifying. So the third row is not modifying. So you copy back the third row. So now repeat the process again. If possible, you pause the video now and you do again. Right? You do again, follow the step that I just teach you just now, right? This is the way you watching this video, all right? How to avoid boringness, okay? You have to do it yourself. So now, never mind, I do for you now. So row 1 plus 3 row 3. So now it's the row 1, row 2, and the row 3, right? Row 1 and row 3. So row 1 here is 1 and 0, right? 1 and 0. Now already very pandai already, right? So 0 and 1. Now it's between, it's between, okay, I make a mistake here. So for this one, it's between row 1 and row 3 at 1 and 0. So 1 multiplied 3 times 0, you have 1. So now go for 0 and 0. Row 1 and row 3 ma. Row 1 and row 3. 0 and 0, you have 0, right? So for negative 3 and 1, now negative 3 plus with 3 times 1. Of course, you will get 0 here, right? You will get 0 here. So negative 5 and 2, 1 by 1. Negative 5 and 2 for this. So negative 5 and 2. So negative 5 plus with 3 times 2, right? Negative 5 plus with 3 times 2. So you have negative 5 plus 6, 1. So you have 1 here, right? You have 1 here. Okay. Now go for this one, the value here. So it's between the first row and the third row, right? 0 and -1. So 0 plus with 3 times -1. You have -3 here, right? Double check again, 0 and -1, right? Okay, now 2 and 0. 2 and 0 for this value. Okay, 2, 0. So you have 2 again, right? Have 2 again. Okay, done for first row. Modify for second row. Now it's between row 2 and row 3. Row 2 and row 3, the formula is -3. How to get -3? Is here, 3, you will get -3, right? So row 2, be careful, row 2 and row 3. Tell your mind, and now I is in row 2 and row 3. So 0 and 0, 0 and 0, 0, 1 and 0, 1 and 0, 1, 3 and 1, 3, minus 3 times 1, 0, yeah! This is identity. So now go for this, 3 and 2, 3 and 2, okay, 3 minus 3 times 2, right? Row 2 is 3, row 3 is 2, right? 3 minus 3 times 2, 3, 2, 6. So you have -3, right? So followed by 0 and -1 for this. Okay, 0 minus 3 times -1, right? So you have 3 here. Okay, -1 and 0, -1 here, minus with 0, right? Row 2 is -1, 3 times with 0. So you have -1 here. Whew. This is how tired am I. I'm showing you this. So it means that from AI, right? From the AI, this is your identity. This is your matrix A. Now you have doing all this operation. Finally, you have reached an identity, and this will be your inverse. So then you can. This is a very magic, you know. Okay. So 1, -3, 2. -3, 3, -1, 2, -1, 0. Double check. 1, -3, 2, -3, 3, -1, 2, -1, 0. So while you're viewing this video, you don't follow all the time, okay? You pause the video, think about why I get this matrix. Then after you're watching, you pause the video again, one by one, and you will see what is the pattern of solving, the beauty of solving this, in finding the inverse of a matrix by using elimination row operation. So in order to double check your inverse matrix, you can using calculator, right? Because you're doing so long, so you want to check whether your A inverse is true or not, or you do careless somewhere. So using this calculator also, right? You're using this calculator also. So now, all right. So pressing on again, same thing. You key in 4, right? You define matrix number 1. Then you're pressing 3 by 3 matrix, right? So key in 1 equal, 2 equal, 3 equal, 2 equal, 4 equal, 5 equal, 3 equal, 5 equal, 6 equal. So this is the matrix A, right? Your matrix A. So 1, 2, okay, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 2, 4, 5, 3, 5, 6, right? 3. This will be yes, 3, 5, 6. Okay, done. Pressing the AC. Now you're going to find the inverse. Okay, pressing option, choosing 3, pressing the button below the x squared, the inverse of x. So now pressing equal. Finally, you will got your answer, right? So 1. Okay, look at this. Look at this. This is your answer. 1, right? Followed by -3. Followed by 2. Followed by -3. Yes, very happy already. 3. Followed by -1, 2, -1, 0. Okay. Finally, you have reached the inverse by using elementary row operations, right? So this is the technique of finding the inverse by using elementary row operation. So hope you, during watching this video, you go slowly. Okay, so see you